Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lola King, and I am a registered aromatherapist with the Aromatherapy Registration Council. I am also a clinically trained certified aromatherapist through AromaHead, and I have had the luxury of training in person with Robert Tisserand last year in April and have attended a couple different conferences, and gotta say, there's something to be said about learning, which is what all of these videos have really been about that I've been doing over the last several months. And I want to talk to you guys today a little bit about uplifting and cleansing essential oils. Now, before we get too far into that, I do want to say thank you so very much for everyone who has popped on to say hi and to take a few minutes out of their time, or out of their day rather, to sit and listen and learn with me. I don't know how many of you guys have really thought about how much you learn on a daily basis, but I am a firm believer that we should always keep learning no matter what our craft is. And I have learned in my short time as an aromatherapist and business owner that you can never learn too much, and that learning is truly a lifelong journey. So with that being said, today's topic, it's a little interesting. I'm not going to be giving you all the ins and outs about uplifting and cleansing essential oils, but we are going to focus on one section of it that I think is really important, because I'm going to be using this video to lead into another video that I'm probably going to be doing on Thursday that's really, really important. So to get started, we're really going to be talking about essential oils that have the potential to be phototoxic or have a phototoxic reaction to the skin, or on the skin rather. And it's really important to understand this. There have been for a long time a lot of different myths going around how you can use essential oils in whatever topical ointments that you're using, and you don't have to even dilute them. You can just throw them on your skin. Well, let's take a moment before we get too far, and I'm going to explain what phototoxicity really is, because it's really important to understand what it is before we get into some of these myths. Phototoxicity is a very real and serious concern for any essential oil user. And it doesn't matter if you dilute a little bit or if you are using it in lip balms. It doesn't matter what you're using, an essential oil that has the potential to be phototoxic. It's really important that you understand that the phototoxicity is a reaction that actually occurs between a chemical component found in essential oils, the skin, and ultraviolet light, which you can be exposed to even when the sun is not out. So this time of year, even though the sun isn't out every day, we're not out enjoying all the amazing sunny weather across the US like we are in sunny Arizona, even if it's cloudy and you're using essential oils that have a potential for phototoxicity reactions, you could be at risk. But there's some great news. You can still use those essential oils. You just have to know how to use them. So we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that. I do want to say that several essential oils that have this reaction or have the potential for this reaction when you combine them with the skin and ultraviolet light, those specific chemical components found in essential oils are known as phyretocoumarins, and they're not just found in citrus essential oils. So they're not just found in bergamot, they're not just found in lemon, they're not just found in grapefruit. They can actually be found in fig leaf absolute. They can be found in mandarin leaf. They can be found also in bitter orange essential oil. So if you hear someone saying, oh, I've got bitter orange, it's great. Sweet orange is not at risk for phototoxicity. However, bitter orange is. So it's really important to know this one. A few more. Rue has the potential for phototoxicity. Angelica root, cumin. And there's a whole other list that I'm going to pop back up here with a blog piece that has all of these in detail. And if you have Robert Tisserand's Essential Oil Safety Training book, this information is in there as well. And he talks about phototoxicity at depth, because there are a lot of people that have a lot of injuries every year because of essential oils. And I also want to mention, if you have had a reaction after using a phototoxic essential oil, you do want to report that, not only to the company that you got it from, but you want to report that as well to Poison Control. You also want to report that to the injury reporting program that Scylla Shepherd has been really pioneering over the last several years. I mean, the amount of work that goes into this is just crazy that she does. So I want to make sure that you guys are all following this. And I'm going to apologize now because if you're commenting, I can't see the comments for some really crazy reason. It's the strangest thing. I was hoping that maybe I would be able to see them, but I guess with my phone flipped this way, I can't see them. So I'll get back to any questions or comments as soon as the video is done. A few other things to consider. With the coming of weather, essential oils that I have mentioned and a few others that I haven't mentioned that have this potential reaction, you can actually get this without using essential oils. I don't know how many of you remember a few years ago, there was a man or a woman in Florida. They were enjoying some amazing margaritas and they'd been outside in and out all day long, squeezing the lemons and the limes. And guess what? One too many squeezes of the rind, because that's what we use to create essential oils, that cold pressing of the rinds. He ended up with the phototoxic reaction. So just want you guys to be aware that it's not just essential oils. It can happen with other things, but it has everything to do with the components found within the fruits, rinds, and the other different plant matters. So moving on, before I get too sidetracked, because I do get sidetracked a lot. There's always a million things going on in my head. To use essential oils that have the potential for phototoxicity is actually quite easy. First rule of thumb is never use them undiluted. Ever, 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 guys. This is so important. I mean, consider this. If you were to make a lotion, or to even get an unscented lotion and add an essential oil to it, and you add too much of the essential oil and it happens to be one of those that are phototoxic, and then you go and you put that on your kid because you see, oh, your kid's skin is dry and you don't think anything of it. The kid goes outside, rides their bike. Guess what happens? They have this really nasty burn and pain and itchiness, and it's kind of blistery. It's just not a very good feeling, I can tell you. And it's one of those things you've got to be careful, because if you don't know the dilution, you will absolutely hurt yourself or someone that you really love. So it's important to keep the dilution in mind. And every essential oil that has a potential for phototoxicity does have a specific dilution ratio. And you can find all these dilution ratios. I'm going to post them in my blog, as you can also find them in Robert Tisserand's Essential Oil Safety Book. So if you don't see them on my blog, or you're curious, you can always ask me or flip through that book and they will be in there. But a few, just so you have an idea what they are, Angelica carries a 0.8 dilution rate. That's not very much when you consider the percentage. And bergamot, and this is for the cold press, not the steam distilled that is FCF or furanocarbon free. It is 0.4%. Bitter orange is 1.25% dilution. And grapefruit, which we all love because it's happy and it's wonderful, is 0.4%. Lemon, cold pressed, is 2%. So you see where I'm going with this. There are a lot of different essential oils that have the potential for phototoxicity, but you really have to know each one's specific dilution ratio. Because if you go to add them to a lotion, like I said, or even a sunscreen to make it smell better, because not all of us like the smell of sunscreens, you don't want to end up blistering your skin because you've used too much essential oil that is phototoxic. So it's really important. Like I said, this is all going to be in the blog, and you can also find it in Robert Tisserand's Essential Oil Safety Book. But the big thing here is dilution. Never ever use essential oils undiluted. Robert Tisserand has actually come out earlier this year and said, you know, it's really quite simple. He said, you just should never use essential oils undiluted. It's just not necessary. You can still get the benefits that you need from using them. And with this in mind, we're going to talk about a few myths because it's really, really important that you guys understand why we're talking about the myths with these uplifting and cleansing essential oils. And most of these essential oils, they're pretty uplifting, right? I mean, think about it. Lemon, grapefruit, lime, they're all amazing, uplifting, and healing essential oils. But a lot of times those essential oils are also used through a notion of, say, cleansing. And this notion of cleansing really is more for purification within the air. But somehow along the way, someone has said that you can use these essential oils undiluted on the skin, and it's just detoxing the skin if you get a reaction. I'm here to tell you today that if you do a Google search for phototoxicity, you will get a specific definition that says that the furanocoumarins combined, or the furanocoumarins found within specific essential oils, combined with the skin, combined with ultraviolet light, when undiluted, create phototoxicity or a reaction that is quite severe to the skin. So it's really important that you understand that when we're saying that these essential oils are uplifting and cleansing, we are talking about the air. We're talking about emotional needs. We're not talking about cleansing the skin or detoxing the skin. And that is going to lead us to the next Facebook Live topic, which is going to be all about detoxing the liver. And I know some of you are probably going, what? Yep, that's what we're going to title that video, because that video has a lot of truths that we're going to be sharing. And some of my colleagues are probably going, oh boy, she's on a soapbox. Well, of course I am, because more and more, despite my best efforts, I am finding people they're getting hurt because they're not using essential oils in a safe and balanced way. And I'm not saying you can't use essential oils one way over another. What I am saying is that when we're using essential oils for specific needs, like being uplifting and cleansing, we're talking about the air. When we're talking about, let's see, helping support the skin's natural ability to heal on its own, then we'd be talking about applying to the skin. When we're talking about supporting the skin's effort in circulating bruised tissue so that the bruising goes away, again, we're talking about using essential oils on the skin. But when we're talking about uplifting and cleansing, we are talking about using them in the air. But they can be used on the skin, just diluted properly. So pay attention, look out for the blog. I'm going to post it here in a few minutes. It's pretty much a refresh of one that I'd posted last year. But it is that time of year again when it's getting warmer and everybody's doing the spring cleaning thing, and they're thinking, oh, it's time to lose a few more pounds because we've got summer around the corner, and they're doing all kinds of crazy things with essential oils. So we're going to nip that in the bud early this year, guys. So stay tuned, and I will catch up with everyone later this week on another live video where we're going to talk about detoxing the liver. Thanks so much.